Morning. So, how do you choose which truth to believe? Which spirituality, which method, which techniques, which chants, which hymns, which religions, which beliefs to believe? It's pretty clear that all of these systems of belief are trying to uncover some kind of truth. They don't all see the truth in the same way, but there's a lot of commonality. But what is quite different is the techniques that people use to discover or observe those truths. So for some people it might involve particular kinds of chants or seating positions, or going to places like churches or mosques at certain times of the day, adopting certain behaviors, eschewing other behaviors. Sometimes it goes as far as shunning people who don't adopt the same kinds of behaviors as you do. That's pretty common in the world, not just this part of the world, all parts of the world. But it's not clear, that to me at least, that there's any benefit to holding one set of beliefs. I guess there are people, and I don't count myself as among them, there are people who are looking for the truth, the answer, the one perfection, the one oneness, the one unifying everything. And it's really noble. I wouldn't want to dissuade anyone from doing that, but I think there is a danger that if one constructs a set of rules or behaviors around one particular truth, while trying to discover it, like most of these religions and such, they recognize that perfection is something sort of unattainable, or I'm not sure I believe that. I believe there is no such thing as perfection. I think that we're all perfect in our own way, but that's just my belief. But a lot of these religions and systems of belief are trying to find a path to perfection, which implies that you're sort of not perfect along the way. And if you're not perfect along the way, you're going to make mistakes. And if you make mistakes out of something so ethereal as like what is truth, what is oneness, what is creation, so like stuff you can't see, you can't taste it, you can't hear it. You can observe the results of creation, I guess, by opening your eyes, but you can't observe the Creator by opening your eyes. The Creator is not visible. The evidence of creation, if you believe in a Creator, might be visible in the scene around you, but not the Creator. The Creator is implied in almost every system out there. So how do you choose what to believe? Okay, I have something that works for me, and I'm going to share it with you. A very, very smart person, a very wise person once said to me, someone I went to college with, once said to me, when I asked that person, I asked him, what is truth? And he said, truth is a property of knowledge such that when you apply that knowledge, you find the result useful. Wow, I mean, that's kind of academic, but I'm going to say it again. Truth is a property or a characteristic of knowledge such that when you apply that knowledge, you find the result useful. You find the result useful. Not necessarily everyone. You find it useful. If you find the application of a tool or a piece of knowledge useful, then let's call that truth. And if tomorrow it seems different, that maybe you apply that knowledge and it doesn't seem useful anymore, maybe it's not so true anymore. So truth to me is a fluid concept that can evolve and flow as my situation, as my understanding, as my mood even changes. Truth is there to serve me. And it sounds a bit egocentric, but let me say that again. Truth is there to serve me. I'm not there to serve truth. Truth is a tool in and of itself to help me with something I want to do, whatever it might be. So if you find that sitting in certain positions, chanting certain things, eating certain foods, saying certain words, certain verses, certain practices to clear your mind, if those things work for you and they work for nobody else, that's perfectly fine. They are your truth. They may also be the truths of the person next to you, but they may not be the truths of the person next to them. So it's okay to share truths. It's also okay to have truths which you don't share with anyone else. And it's also okay to have truths today, this morning, before breakfast, that after breakfast, you don't need them anymore. So truths are there to be useful to you when you put them to work. They can bring you comfort. They can bring you wisdom. You can use other people's truths, but be careful. Don't think of them as like the truth. Of course, if you're one of those people who is, I believe the word is an objectivist, then you believe that there is one truth and our job is to discover it, and once we've discovered it, we should not let go of it, because there can be no other truth. It's a great concept. It's very simple. It's very appealing. I don't believe it. It doesn't work for me. And life is too complex. Life is full of contradictions. Okay. I have a second tool to share with you this morning, and that is, how about not collecting the truth? How about collecting many truths and using them, like pull them out of a hat when you need them. And they don't even have to be self-consistent with each other. Man, that sounds like weird. Like, can you have truths that don't even agree with each other? You bet you can. And it's not even just in the spiritual world that this happens. I'll tell you in a minute about some things from science and math that embody this perfectly. But yeah, I think how great a brain or a mind do you have if you can hold multiple sets of different truths in your head, almost like you say, well, from that person's point of view, I can see this, but from this person's point of view, I can see that. From that person's point of view, stealing is bad, but from this oppressed person's point of view, stealing is good. I'm not going to debate those right now, but if you can hold all of those points of view and pull them out of your head when it serves you, I think you're doing well. So, so far, what have I said? I've said truth is kind of up to you. It's what it means to you to be useful to you today. It's something that you find useful, then that's a truth for you. And I've said you can share it with other people, but you don't have to, and it can change, it can be fluid, and you can have truths within you that don't even fit together. But man, this one works for this situation, that one works for this situation. I have family truths, and I have school truths, and I have work truths. I'm just using those as examples. Just wanted to pull out a couple of interesting things from science and mathematics. Sometimes people think, well, science is about the truth. No. Science is about defining a frame of reference and then exploring truths within that frame of reference. For example, within the Newtonian, I may be getting this wrong, let's call it the classical. Within the classical model of physics, most of us in high school are taught about the Bohr model, B-O-H-R, the Bohr model of the atom, in which there are protons and electrons in a nucleus in the middle, and some distance away there are electrons which are organized into shells and spin around. Total fabrication. None of that is true. Like, none of it is true. I mean, it's not even nearly true, but it's incredibly useful. It lets you derive all of chemistry. It lets you derive, how atoms and molecules interact with each other chemically, without having to do these incredibly complex quantum field equations that I don't even understand, even though I took university physics. But man, it's beyond my ability. But I can handle the Bohr model of the atom, and maybe you can too. So it's useful even though it's not true. It's true within the realm of chemistry. It's not true generally. Okay, mathematics. Well, many of us know that there are 180 degrees. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. True? Sometimes. It's true when it's useful. Where is it useful? It's useful on a flat plane. You put that triangle on a sphere, and the sum of the interior angles of the triangle can be a lot more than 180 degrees. I forget the exact limit or what that number is, but it's not 180. Whether something is true depends on how you're asking the question, and that's really just one of those interesting things in life. Whether something is true depends on the frame in which the question is being asked. This pretty abstract talk this morning, what I'd like you to take away from it, and you can let me know what you think of it in the comments if you like, is the notion of truth as being a characteristic of knowledge such that when you apply that knowledge in your own life, the result is useful. And the notion that you can hold multiple truths in your mind and they don't even have to be self-consistent. And the notion that truths can be fluid, they can be true today, they don't have to be true tomorrow. And the notion that even in science and mathematics, truths are relative to the frame of reference in which the question is being asked.